what positions the ANC as the leader of the society. The very last one, the ANC has made a lot of investment in human capital in various ways. And the biggest question, how do we sustain the use and also tapping on that human capital? We've got very much progressive engineers, comrades who are engineers, who have retired, who have got a wealth of knowledge and who know that their development is associated with the ANC. How does the ANC make use of those human resource, human capital? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, colleagues. Let's give our panel a round of applause. Just in summary of this panel, the three underpinning developmental challenge that speaks to the ANC priority. It's the set core of development needs. One, of eradication of poverty in all its forms and dimensions. Two, the structural transformation for sustainable development. Three, building resilience to crisis and shocks. Because all these issues, whether you're talking energy, GBV, and others, you need to look at all of these things. In essence, Mr. President, a healthy economy requires a healthy population. And it means that we sustain the structures of the population, society, where it functions. And I think the message to DSG was quite clear: institutionalize the sectoral work. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Steve, and thanks to the panelists. From the founding of the African National Congress until today, it is in the culture of the African National Congress that we remain consultative in the work that we do. There might be challenges, there might have been weaknesses, but we know that from the culmination of the gathering in Mangaung, there were extensive consultations. We also know that before the ANC opted to resort to armed struggle, they even went through serious consultation and, most importantly, making sure that there is an appreciation of taking that route. We know that prior to the negotiations, there was an extensive consultation process by the leadership of the ANC, and we know that when the ANC was banned, it was through the United Democratic Front that we saw gatherings that started in this form, leading up to the founding of the United Democratic Front. So we're here to work together and ensure that the task of the emancipation of the people of South Africa remains a responsibility of the people of South Africa working together with the African National Congress. Comrade Mtumiseni Ntuli is a member of the National Executive Committee. He's the head of elections and campaigns and sectoral work, falls also under the department that he is responsible for. We have Comrade Mamuluku Kubai. She's the chair of the ETC. She's seated over there. We've got Comrade Faith Mutambi. It's legal and yes, she's in the legal and monitoring subcommittee of the NEC. We've got Comrade Kusela. She's an all-rounder. Today she's busy. You just send her anywhere, and she just does her job. We've got Comrade Sbongile Pesani, who is also the head of the presidency in Lutuli House. And we've got a number of NEC members, Comrade Tina Pule at the back there. She is also here. We deliberately did not extend an invitation to all NEC members because we could have faked the attendance. We are 87. So we just invited less than 10. so that then this session becomes an all-inclusive exercise. We have leaders of the ANC Women's League and of the ANC in Gauteng and in Johannesburg. And of importance, we've got yourselves. This is a journey we're going to travel together in renewing the ANC and self-correcting ourselves, reconnecting with the people of South Africa. Comrade Mtumiseni, over to you.
Thank you very much, Comrade DSG. Good afternoon, Comrade President, members of the National Executive Committee, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen. The DSG, when she was introducing me, Comrade President, she also forgot that I was almost the Secretary General of the ANC. So I thought she was going to mention that because I would never leave that on my CV now. No, thank you very much, Comrade DSG. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now proceeding to the second part of this program, which will be an open engagement. The DSG has made it very clear that we are not meeting here for the first time. This is one of the many engagements that are going to take place. Because as she indicated earlier on, for the ANC to have a pulse of society in its fingerhead, it has to understand what is the thinking and the feeling of the various sectors of our society. When we come to decisions in the NEC or in the national conference, those decisions must be predicated on our proper understanding of where the nation is and where we want to take the nation to as part of that leadership of the ANC. What we are now suggesting we do in terms of this program, you will notice that there are no panelists who are bringing forward, because all of you now are panelists. So what we would like to do, the DSG will indicate to me how much time we have for that. We thought that, Comrade President, it would not be appropriate for the ANC through its president to be the one that comes and say where we are and where we ought to be. But the president will come at the end and the DSG will deal with that aspect, having properly understood and internalized what the rest of us think about the trajectory of our country today and what each one of us will and can contribute to extricate us from the current situation we find ourselves. So in essence, what I'm saying is that I'm now opening the floor. And the approach that we would like to see this session assumes. The subtopic says, the future we want. The intended meaning of that, ladies and gentlemen, is that each one of us who will have an opportunity to stand up and make a contribution will, in essence, make suggestions about what we need to do together in our different organizations, at a government level, in order to improve our current conditions as South Africans. We have a team here from the headquarters that is going to be taking notes, which we will use to determine the next course of action when we meet later this coming week to assess this event and what needs to be done emerging from this important engagement with civil society formations. So let me pause there and request that you indicate your intention to make a contribution on the sustainable partnerships that can be forged between the organization you represent, all of us gathered here, and with the African National Congress, and of course what the ANC-led government may be required to do. So I'm going to give you numbers. I think you will all have an opportunity to speak. So what I will do for easy management, I will start from these 2 rows, then I'll come to the others. Can I request that we allow each person, given the number of hands I've seen already, maybe a minute to a minute and a half. We'll assess if we need to come back in an event where you were not able to cover all the issues you wanted to raise. So I'm going to start here in the front, in the first table, and say you are number 1, you are number 2, you are number 3, you are number 4. You are number 5 at the back with a white hat. You are number 6 with a white cap. And then you would be number 7 with a red cap, and number 8. Number 8 there, I think the lady with a black dress. Can I suggest that we take these 8 for now, so that we don't forget our numbers? As I said earlier on, you have about a minute and a half. You can quickly introduce yourself and then say, what do you think we need to do and how should we go about doing it to move forward from where we are? Thank you very much.
Comrade Mdu, I am Thaban Seiso from South African Table Tennis Board, and I wish to appreciate this invitation, Mr. President, in a sense that you were the first to congratulate us after having won the bid to host the World Table Tennis Championship. That was in 2020, an event that is taking place from the 20th to the 28th of May at Dr. Inkosi Albert Lituli ICC in Durban. I know I'm in an ANC meeting here. I wouldn't want to introduce myself as Vice President of something. I am with who I will refer to as the chairperson of table tennis in South Africa, because I know in an ANC meeting there's only one president. And for that I'm being cautious so that the president doesn't wonder what is happening. I want to quickly say we will be hosting table tennis. Is a very global sport, and it's played in 227 countries in the world. You'll understand how big the sport is. And in the continent of Africa, we become the second country to host this type of event since Egypt in 1939. So I'm sure this is a good one for us. However, President, we're at a point where I was hoping that perhaps our new Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture will be here so that we engage him.
We are here on his behalf as well.
I know that for sure. So briefly, I'm not gonna talk about, I also want to make a point to say, we have a rich history as a sport in terms of where the country is. We have been a member of the International Federation since around 1957 or so, if that is correct. And for that
Your time is going to
I only wanted to make these 2 points. First, yes, to say we would like to see the whole of you at Durban during that time, and importantly, for the President to be there. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2, the gentleman there.
We're just going to change places.
It doesn't matter, you can start. He was number 2, he would be number 3.
Thank you very much, Comrade Mdu. My name is JP Pretorius. I'm part of the ANC National Group's initiative. Comrade President, you would recall that we met with yourselves as the officials last year in June outline our concerns about the diminishing non-racial character of the ANC. It is also part of your political input at conference. It was mentioned that the deterioration of the non-racial character is something that we must look at. It's also a conference resolution number 32, that speaks of that we must have a targeted strategy to mobilize communities and to look at renewing the organization in the sense of the non-racial character. Comrade President, our initiative has grown since we met last. We have evolved to incorporate all languages, all cultures, all ethnic groups, and all race groups into our initiative, so that we can address the national question broadly. Our WhatsApp group has now got about 100 members, 10 members per province. Our aim, like we said to you, is to launch a national groups desk at Lutuli House, and then a national groups desk at each province to address the concerns. And when we are saying the national question of concerns, it's not just a race thing. Like we want to look at even at ethnic issues, in terms of if you look at Limpopo, that has the Chonga and the Venda issue. You've got Mpumalanga that has got issues between the Ndebele and the Swati issue. So ours is not to say that the non-racial character of the movement is just a race thing. The national question must be addressed broadly. And Comrade President, we are here at your disposal. We want to launch the desk at Lutuli House to ensure that we can broadly discuss and have a think tank where we could look at national question concerns, so that when we speak about mobilizing communities and look at the diminished that's there, that we can have a platform where it can be discussed in a comfortable situation, where we can all address the issue without feeling that you get marginalized or to a sense victimized when you raise these things in your specific spaces. So we want to launch the desk, Comrade President. We'll hope to hear from you, and then from there we want to launch a ANC National Groups Forum where we can broadly have a place where these things can be addressed in line with what is there already, but just to encourage and improve on the situation. Thank you very much.
Okay, number 3. Number 3.
Okay, I think I'm taking it. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohita Lachmi Narain. I'm also a member of the ANC National Group. I'm also a member of the legislature. I want to appreciate the ANC for putting that recognition in our province. Mr. President, I think myself and you, we have worked on a number of events, our Litsima campaign, many events that have worked around the community of Mpumalanga. I'm also the former MEC for Public Works, Mr. President, so having a background of how government works, I think in my tenure, I've seen, and I like what the speaker, one of our speakers spoke about, in terms of our procurement policies. Mr. President, I think we are here today to give you a pathway of how we can change things for the benefit of our people. And by people, I mean everyone, our blacks, whites, Indian, colored community, including Chinese as well. But Mr. President, in our procurement policies, we are limited. When we say that we want to go out on tender, or when we want to have the services of outsides, we are limited in terms of it being open to all. It must be a free and open process. I think we must be unapologetic, Mr. President, to say that we have a percentage that is set in terms of programs within each province, an allocation, whether it's 2% of youth or whether it's 10% of youth, but be unapologetic and have a percentage that's allocated. National Treasury needs to change its legislation if we want to see benefit in our communities, economic benefit in our communities. We can't be speaking about 30% allocation to our communities, Mr. President. We need to be speaking about skills development as well. And when we speak about a developmental state, Mr. President, it comes to our government. Let us
move towards the closure.
Let us capacitate our government to be able to do the core functions themselves. Let us have proper engineers, proper technicians, without relying too much on consultants. But Mr. President, we are here. We are a diverse group of Indians, professionals amongst us as well. We have the necessary capacities. We are here representing our communities in all our provinces. We are here, utilize us, Mr. President, because we feel like we are part of the ANC. All our groups will not vote for any political party, but we feel neglected.
Thank you. Number 4. Number 4.